So it's Christmas time, so I thought, why not do a little Christmas movie review? So I decided that I wanted to review All I Want for Christmas Is You, and I'm kind of glad I did. It's pretty interesting. So, All I Want for Christmas Is You is basically based off the song by Mariah Carey. So we open on this beautifully decorated town, and our narrator is Mariah Carey.
I said it happened at Christmas time. That's more like it.
Our main character is a little girl named Mariah. So there's these two girls at the ice skating pond, and they asked Mariah if she wanted to be in this dog fashion show.
Great! We're short one girl with a dog.
Oh.
The only problem is Mariah doesn't have a dog. So she lies and says she'll have one.
Wait, I'm gonna have one soon. I'm gonna ask for one for Christmas.
So her little sister and brother come up to her and is like, why are you lying?
Yeah, why did you tell them that? Mom and Dad won't let you have a dog.
Apparently she's asked every Christmas for a dog. So her parents always say no, and this year's no different. She's still gonna ask for a dog. And they go down to explain the reason why her parents say no is, one, her dad's allergic, and then her mom is like this perfectionist clean freak, so like a dog is completely out of the question. So every year she asks for a puppy, and she also came up with some scenarios in her head of why Santa Claus hasn't brought her a dog yet.
But it seemed to me like maybe Santa was in over his head.
Boss, excuse us, sir. You forgot a couple...
Not sure about that. Maybe Mom and Dad had something to do with Santa not getting me a puppy.
Butterscotch, my favorite.
You can have the cookies as long as you don't leave a dog.
And all I kept thinking was, it couldn't be because your dad's allergic and your mom would hate it. No, that can't be it, right? It's like, she meets the girls later that night to get ready for the dog show, and of course she's the only little girl without a dog. And then her grandma comes to pick her up. Well, her grandma decides to take her to the pet shop, which I thought was kind of mean because her parents always say no to a dog. Most likely she's not getting a dog. I don't know why she wants to take her to the pet store, but she takes her to the pet store, and she falls in love with this cute little dog. The owner of the pet store is explaining, like, oh, it's a great dog, it's hyperallergenic, you know, it's well behaved, and she just falls in love with this dog.
And that's how it happened. Love at first sight.
Oh, she's so sweet.
She decides she's getting this dog one way or another. She's dead set on this. And I can relate. I remember I wanted a dog when I was a kid, and I kept leaving notes under my parents' pillows and asking for a dog, and it wasn't even Christmas. And I did end up with a dog. So, I mean, I can see where she's coming from. But, you know, I don't know why the grandma took her there. It felt, I don't know. Anyways, I can totally relate. So at home, Mariah sees someone sneaking out of the house. And it's her Grandpa Bill. And she's like, oh, Grandpa, not again. And so she goes outside, and he's unplugging the neighbor's lights. And she's upset. And she's like, why are you doing this, Grandpa? You need to stop.
Grandpa Bill, not again! You've just got to stop this!
And I was like, okay, what is the grandpa doing? And he's like, you're my partner in crime.
Quick, catch you!
Catch us, my partner in crime.
I'm not your partner.
What an awful grandpa. Like, you're doing something it's literally illegal. She's telling you you need to stop, grandpa, and then you're telling her she's your partner in crime just because she came out there to tell you to stop. Okay. So, later, we see Mariah. She's practicing in the choir. They kind of set up Mariah to be like a perfectionist, and she's really good at stuff. And she has like a really full schedule. She's really responsible. I don't know why the parents don't want her to have a dog. She's like super responsible. But anyways, so she comes home, and the brother and sister are making cookies for Christmas, and she scolds her little brother for leaving the door open. And this is not the only time this will happen. This happens like so many times. It's an important part of the plot. So, back to what's up with Grandpa. The mom calls the neighbor's house an eyesore. So she's totally against Christmas decorations on the outside unless it's like very minimalistic, I guess. So because the mom won't let the grandpa decorate the outside of the house, he's taking it on the neighbor. On to the family decorating for Christmas. The grandma's trying to convince the dad that Mariah deserves a dog. I mean, she's telling her how she gets good grades, she's in choir, she does like so many things, she really deserves a dog. And she's just trying to convince him to let her have one. The mom calls the pet a distraction and says like it would be a distraction for her, which seems really unfair because she's like, if your kid's doing so well, they deserve a reward, not like, oh, we don't want anything to distract you from all the great stuff you're doing. How is that like an incentive? So Mariah uses subtlety, just like I did when I wanted a dog, and she's like, I'll put up the Christmas star, and it's a Christmas star with a dog on it she made. It's like so the next day they're playing in the snow, and she's making a snow dog, not a snowman, again with subtlety here. And her little brother hits it with a snowball. And all I can think is like, everyone in this family is terrible. Like, except for the little sister. The little sister just keeps asking Mariah, like, can I help you? And Mariah's always like, no, because she's a perfectionist. She doesn't want any help. She feels like she has to do everything on her own. Which is like, I can see where she's coming from. And then the little sister's kind of like, oh, I just wanted to help you. And she's kind of sad about it. Really, the little sister is so much more likable than everyone. So we get to the point where Mariah Carey narrating it is telling us how the dad can never directly say no. He's bad at saying no. So instead of saying no, he finds like an indirect way to tell her no about things, like avoiding it or finding something that comes up so he doesn't have to say no. So she tells us that, and then that's it. That's all we hear about that. We moved to the inside of the house. I don't remember what they're doing. I think they were finishing decorating for Christmas or something. And then the dad brings in a box. Okay? It's not just any box. It's a box with holes. And if you're a kid, you know, it's a box with holes, there's going to be an animal inside. Okay? So Mariah, she's immediately excited. She's like, oh my god, I'm actually getting my dog. So she's so excited, and I'm like, this can't be, obviously she's not getting the dog. The movie would be over. This would be the end of the movie. So I'm like, what is in the box? What is going to be there? So she's like all excited.
Let me see him. I bet he's so cute.
Yeah, he sure is. Something like that. Okay.
And he says that someone needs a dog sitter. And she's like, I'll do it. I want, she'll do anything. She wants a dog. And he makes a deal with her. He'll see how she does dog sitting, and if she can do that, she can have a dog. And I was like, that just sounds too good to be true. First it was a no, and now it's like, if you can watch a dog, you can have a dog. So she's like, of course. She's like, yeah, I can do that. That's simple. So they open up, and this is like this dirty little puppy dog in there.
Oh, he's
and it's pretty cute. And she asks, like, what's the name of the dog? And at first, Dad seems like he doesn't know, which is, like, really suspicious. And then he's like, oh, it's Jack. And the dog starts running around. He gets out. the dog jumps on the counter and grabs the dinner. They're having steak, and the dog grabs the raw steak. And then, surprise, the brother left the door open. And the dog runs out the door. So then Mariah runs out of the house after him. She wants to do a perfect job. She wants this dog. She's like, I'm going to be the best dog sitter ever. So the mom goes to the dad and she's like, oh, the dog ate your steak. What a pity. And I was like, so mean. Because the dog got on the counter and ate the steak. She's like, it was your steak because you're the one who brought the dog here. So Mariah goes out and looking for the dog. And the neighbor's out there like, I can't figure out what happened to my lights. I think that's the part where the grandpa had replaced one of the lights with a light bulb so his lights wouldn't blink or something, and it like ruined the neighbor's lights. So he's like searching like, what happened to my lights? I don't know what's wrong with them. So she's like, I don't know what happened. Oh, that's weird. And she continues looking for Jack.
Oh, yum yum. Nuh-uh, this is my dinner. Yum. Come on, you know you want it.
So then the mom goes to Mariah and she's like, you know, you don't need to watch the dog. It's okay if you want to give up. And I was like, a great lesson, Mom. You know, give up as soon as it gets hard. Get up as soon as you try, and it's a little hard, just give up. Now, I believe in telling kids, like, it's okay to not succeed at everything. I think that's a lesson kids don't learn enough. Is it's okay if you don't succeed at something. And, you know, but you tried your best. But the mom's literally like, oh, it was hard. Like, right when you started, so just give up. It's okay. I'm like, I don't know. I think that's a great message. So, she's like, I can do it. So she takes the dog. She washes him. The little sister opens the door. She's like, can I help you, Mariah? She's like, no. And then, of course, the dog runs out of the door. Then, it's nighttime. The dog wants to get in bed with her, and she's like, no, you can't lay in my bed. No, don't kiss me on the face. She's like really mean to this dog because it's not her dream dog. She's like basically just tolerating him. And she just keeps saying to herself like, in a few days I'll have Princess. And she's like dreaming about it. She just can't wait. And she's also like, don't kiss my face. So then the dog starts to do that gagging things dogs do. If you've had a dog before, you know. About to throw up. Luckily she caught on quick. She picks him up and runs him out of bed, and he throws up. I think it's a good lesson for kids here. Like, dogs are actually work. It's not all fun. They're an animal. You have to take care of them. So anyways, the next day her grandma and her go for a walk, and they go shopping, and then Mariah buys a bunch of stuff that she wants for the dog Princess. She buys her a bunch of dog stuff, and she's like, I can't wait till I get Princess. This is all the stuff she's gonna have. She puts all the stuff in her room, and then Jack comes and lays in her new dog bed, and she's like, no, you can't lay in there. I was like, that's kind of mean. And she puts all the stuff for Princess up, and then she won't let him have any toys. She doesn't give him anything, and of course she doesn't really know anything about dogs, so she doesn't realize, like, he's a puppy, he needs something to chew. So she doesn't give him anything, and he chews up one of her shoes while she's gone, and she's so upset. And the grandma comes in, and she's like, why does this dog hate me? And she's like, he doesn't hate you, he's just a puppy. Which is another good lesson for kids. I think there's some good lessons in here. So the grandma helps her, like, hang all her shoes on a clothesline in her room so the dog can't chew them. And then she gives the dog something to sleep on, and then she's like, you have to give it something, you know. Moving on. She has the dog outside. He gets scared by one of the neighbor's animatronic elves. It terrifies him, so he runs off. So Mariah's chasing him. Now the dog decides he's going to run through town. So some lady asks Mariah, like, is that your dog? And she's like, it's not my dog. And she, like, continues chasing him, and her friends are like, oh, what a great dog. They're so excited because they didn't know she had a dog. So finally, the mom allows the grandpa to have a display. She's like, you can have one decoration, like whatever you want. You can have one decoration, and will that make you happy? Like, 'cause that's all I'm gonna do. So it's like, deal. Like, he just wants to decorate so bad. Might as well just let him decorate. You know, I don't think he really deserves it. I mean, he's like taking out on the poor neighbor. But anyways, so later the dog gets in her room, crawls across, well, he like hops from shoe to shoe on her clothesline to get to the stuff she didn't want to give him, which was the princess's new dog bed and this like toy she's gonna donate to charity later. He just wants to chew it, so he gets up there and she sees him and sees the mess, and she's like so upset. And later that night, she just gets into bed, and the dog poops downstairs, and someone calls her. I think it's the mom. She's like, you better come down here and clean this. So she leaves her door open. No one in this family knows how to close the door. So she leaves her door open, and he follows her into the kitchen. When she turns around, and he startles her, and he pees on the floor. So she yells at him, and then the grandma offers her help, and he's hiding under the couch, and she feels bad. So she snuggles him, and, you know, she's like, okay, fine, we can snuggle. Anyways, the next night, she has a choir performance. So Mariah's about to put the dog in a pen, and she leaves in a little, it's like a little pen in her, by her back door. And then as soon as she walks away, he starts crying super loud. So she's like, I guess I'll have to take him. So she takes him with her. They go out. The neighbor makes fun. The neighbor makes fun of their snowman and calls it a marshmallow or something. And I think he was just joking around, but Grandpa takes it like super serious. He's like so angry that he would insult his snowman. And Jack comes over and bites the snowman, and it deflates. Decoration gone. But the mom was happy. So Mariah's late for choir. So once they get there, it's like an outdoor gazebo. So Mariah runs over, and she takes the dog with her, which I don't know why she didn't just hand it to one of her parents to hold just while she's singing. But yeah, she takes the dog with her to sing in the choir. She gets mad, and all the dogs in the audience start singing. So then the gazebo they're standing under has an avalanche, and the snow falls on them. And the choir instructor is angry, and you know, Mariah's just having the hardest time watching this dog. He's a puppy. He's a lot of work. Oh, so while she's shoveling the snow, Jack runs away into her room, and he grabs a costume that is for the fashion show. And she comes upstairs, and she tries to get it back, and it rips. And she starts crying. She's so frustrated. This dog is so much work for her. She's trying her best, and it's like still not good enough. Her sister comes, and she tries to hide it, and then her sister seems to want help, and she's like, I got an idea. And they like figure they should steal the neighbor's Mrs. Claus's Santa suit for her, even though it's like, I don't know, they go so they go down there, and they use the neighbor's Mrs. Claus's Santa suit, and somehow it magically fits Mariah, even though Mrs. Claus is like 5 feet tall, and Mariah looks like she's probably 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall, I don't know. And obviously the Mrs. Claus is a lot bigger than her, and it fits perfectly. So I guess that works out great for her. So anyways, she decides she's gonna use Jack for the show, which this part was confusing me because I thought she was saying she's getting a dog for Christmas, so she'd have a dog in time for the show. So I'd figure the show would be sometime on Christmas or after Christmas, but it's like a few days before Christmas. So why did she think she'd have Princess for the show? Didn't she realize she would have to use Jack for the show, or have no dog if she didn't know she was going to babysit Jack? I feel like that part was the whole reason why she lied about having a dog or getting a dog, was because of the fashion show, and she didn't know when it was. I don't know, this part didn't make sense. So anyways, she takes Jack to the show, and she sees the neighbor out there, and she's like, I hope he doesn't see me. And I'm like, how would he know it's his Santa suit? First of all, it shouldn't even fit you, so he probably wouldn't even realize. On the way to the fashion show, she goes and donates the toy that Jack wanted. And then they get to the fashion show. She sees the neighbor. So the other girls ask about the dog, and is that the dog you took to the choir to sing? And she's like embarrassed by it because he did cause a commotion, but it's not really his fault. I don't think she should have taken him with her to sing. So she just imagines herself walking down and the dog doing tricks, and so she's like all pumped and ready for this fashion show. But in reality, she walks down the runway, and somehow the neighbor does recognize the Santa, so he's like, that looks familiar, and weird. I was like, really? So it's like every Santa suit looks the same. How would you recognize it? Anyways, the dog circles around Mariah's legs and wraps her up, and she falls, and then he like pukes. and he just ruins the whole thing for her. And of course, like, he's not trained yet. She expected him to be able to do this, and of course he couldn't. So she goes and puts the Santa suit back, and the grandpa goes to the neighbor's house at night to sabotage someone. So Mariah's in the living room talking to her mom, and she notices that across on the neighbor's house, like, all the decorations are gone off the roof, and she's like, what? So she goes outside. She goes to the neighbor's house, and she goes around the back into his backyard, and the grandpa is tangled in the lights, dangling above a puddle of water. And I didn't really think about it because it looked like a puddle of ice, but I guess it was a puddle of water in the snow. And I thought it was so funny because basically the grandpa's tangled in lights, about to be electrocuted. It's like so dramatic. So the little brother's like, hey, it's a pinata. The little brother comes over there to Mariah. He's like, hey, Grandpa's a pinata. It's so funny. He's dangling, could die right now. Like, how's so funny? So he's like, oh no, he's gonna die if he falls in the pond. And then the neighbor gets home. So they're like, oh my God, we gotta get Grandpa down. And they manage to get him down. I think they get a Christmas decoration or something and lower him onto it. And they get him down and get him home. So the neighbor doesn't find out what he did. So then she tells Jack, like, or she's talking about Jack, and she's like, I almost could forgive Jack. But then later he jumps into the toy drive sleigh, and he grabs that line she donated, and she tries to get it back, and then he knocks over everything and makes a huge mess. It's so embarrassing to her. So he comes out of the pile of stuff, and she chases him, and it's just making everything worse. And so now she's like, I'm not getting Princess. I don't think I'm getting Princess. She's like, feels so defeated. And she feels like she has one more night to really prove herself. And she's like, I can do this. I have one more night. So later that night when they're all sleeping, squirrels get in the house. Squirrels get in the house, climb up the tree. You can probably guess what happens. Jack sees the squirrels, chases the squirrels, knocks over everything in the house, makes a huge mess. The commotion wakes up everyone in the family. They come downstairs, and of course they think Jack did it. So they go up to the chimney. Jack was in the chimney chasing the squirrels, and they're like, oh my God, the dog did all this. Oh my God. So she's really stressed out. Jack runs, and he makes a huge mess. The mom's mad because obviously the chimney is just soot everywhere. Mariah's like really upset, and she runs crying, and she can't wait to get rid of this dog. I think she says like, I can't wait to get rid of him. And she just goes to her room. She's like so upset. Like, he's ruining everything, but she doesn't realize like he's just a puppy. But she feels like he's ruining everything because it's a lot more work than she thought, and it's not going like picture perfect like she thought it would. Oh, that night she goes to apologize to the puppy, and he won't come up from under the couch, and she doesn't realize the dog hasn't run away because someone left open the door again. No one ever closes the door. So the next morning she realizes he ran away, and she says, oh my God, my uncle's gonna be heartbroken, because the dad had, I forgot to mention this, but the dad had told her that the dog belonged to the uncle, and that's who she was pet sitting for. So remember when I told you about, she did a narration of like, the dad can't say no. He always finds an indirect way to say no. He thought if she had to watch a terrible dog, that she would just give up and not want a dog. Like, what a terrible, that's such a terrible parent. Like, you just break her spirit so she won't want a dog anymore. That's instead of just being like, no, I'm sorry, no. Or he tells her she can have Princess, and she's like, okay, and they get there, and she's all excited, and then she sees another kid looking at Princess, and he's like totally in love with this dog also. And she knew Princess was her dream dog, but now she likes Jack. And she tells the little kid that's looking at Princess, like, you know, you can adopt her, because the pet shop owner promised Princess to her. She wasn't going to sell her to anyone else but Mariah. Mariah's like, you know, this other little kid really loves Princess, and I love my dog Jack, and so you can have Princess. She doesn't want Princess anymore, she wants Jack. And this is where the title of the movie comes in. We finally get to hear Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And I was like wondering when that was gonna show up, and it did. So all she wants for Christmas is Jack. Later, all her friends are at her house because she wants to go search for Jack, and they're all there to support her, even the choir lady, and they search everywhere, and she finally finds him in the donation bin. She like apologizes to him, and you know, she feels really bad about what happened, and she really loves the dog, so he forgives her, and then everyone cheers. And then on their way home, walking past the neighbors, the whole family together calls the neighbor's house tacky. He didn't do anything to you guys but try to decorate. It was like, oh, he called the snowman a marshmallow. It was like he didn't do anything mean. And then he's like, hopefully, that'll restore some Christmas spirit you are desperately in need of. And I was like, yeah, they are in need of Christmas spirit, because how are you even mad at the neighbor? He's literally done nothing. So the mom finally gives the grandpa permission to decorate because of the neighbor. I think the neighbor figured out that grandpa was sabotaging him. Squirrels get in, and the mom chases them out, and they figure out, oh, it wasn't Jack, it was squirrels. So that explains that part. So then the grandpa puts a huge display, and the lights blind the neighbor, and he falls off the roof. So after the neighbor falls off the ladder, it's kind of like they were saying, like, haha, you love your ladder now. I was like, are we supposed to want this? I don't know. It's like a lesson, like, I get the lesson, like, we don't have to be perfect, but you could at least be nice. So the moral of the story is just do horrible stuff until you get what you want, I guess. I feel like that's all the part of the grandpa teaches us, but yeah, it was entertaining enough. So yeah, that was my review for All I Want for Christmas Is You. See you next time.